So my judgment, it's hardly a radical one, but maybe just a commonplace one, is that the big loser here is Iran with the fall of Assad. They lost a key ally, and they lost that big avenue from Iran to its proxies in Lebanon, Hezbollah. What do you think?
Absolutely right. Yeah, no, that's absolutely right, Paul. And it comes at a bad time for Iran because they've also lost Hezbollah. It's largely incapacitated. Hamas is largely incapacitated. And, of course, their air defenses were destroyed by Israel as well. So their ambitions, their imperialist ambitions, I would say, their ring of fire, their axis of resistance, they call it, all of that is severely, severely weakened. The danger is that if I'm Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in Tehran right now, I may be banging my fists on my desk saying, so where are my nuclear missiles? Why aren't they fitted onto a warhead yet? I need them now.
Right. And that's going to be a very, very important decision that the Trump administration faces when it come in for precisely that kind of calculation. Is this the moment then for the new President Trump to come in and support Israel or maybe combined operation to destroy that nuclear capacity?
Myself, I would like to see that the U.S. could knock out the Islamic Republic's nuclear weapons facilities in about 24 hours. They would do it with aircraft coming from Missouri. Wouldn't take long, wouldn't be hard. It would be a huge transformation that Trump could bring. Now, if he doesn't want to do it himself or all by himself, he could back the Israelis, say, can you take this job? We'll give you some help. My guess is the Israelis would say, thanks for the help. Yeah, we will do it. Without U.S. help, could the Israelis do it? It's more controversial, probably, but not. You know, it would probably take a few weeks for them to do all the damage. I'm not sure they have the weapons and planes. But with the U.S. help, they could do it again, or Trump could do it on his own and transform the global environment.
All right, let's talk about that vacuum in Syrian rule now. A couple of Islamic groups are considering, Islamist groups competing for power. How big a risk is there that you could see the development over time of an Islamist government, radical government in Damascus, or maybe an enclave like ISIS had for a while there during the Obama years?
Right. Look, I think that HTS and the other rebel groups, HTS being the most important rebel group, I think they are Islamists. I don't think they're moderate, even though they've broken with their roots with al-Qaeda and the Islamic State. They may, however, be pragmatic. If you're Abu Muhammad al-Jawlani, who's the head of HTS.
Right.
You're thinking right now, what do I want to do over the next week or so? Do I want to get into a Toyota pickup truck with a couple of guerrillas and Kalashnikovs and go up in the Golan Heights and try to kill some Jews? Or do I want to go to the presidential palace and take a hot bath? I know what I would do, but maybe I can't speak for Jawlani.
Yeah, but how big a risk is that they could consolidate power and turn to take an Islamist radical turn that does threaten Jordan or does threaten Israel, as opposed to saying, you know what, we need to actually rebuild Syria, which of course is in desperate straits.
Yeah, all that could happen, but it's harder now, and it's harder now for the following reason. The Israelis have essentially demilitarized Syria. They've hit the warships, they've hit planes, they've hit, most importantly, perhaps, chemical weapons. We think they've probably gotten rid of about 80% of all that, maybe more, maybe less. We don't know exactly. I think it's important to try to figure that out. But if they're largely disarmed, then they could become more like the Taliban. I'm not sure. Again, a lot of that will have to do with what Ankara wants, what Erdogan wants. He is a power, and I hope, as you said earlier, he's getting along with the U.S., because there's a lot of things the U.S. should demand of Erdogan. One is hands off the minorities. That means the Christians, that means the Jews, and it means the Kurds, because Erdogan has tremendous hatred for the Kurds, and the Kurds have worked with the U.S. hand in glove against the Islamic State in northeastern Syria. Those are our allies and friends, our comrades in arms. They should be protected, too. I hope Trump will.
So the U.S. has a base in Syria. It's not a large base, something like 900 servicemen and women. Their mission has been to stop the return of ISIS, Islamic State, there. Is it something that the U.S. Trump should keep, even though he says Syria isn't our fight?
Yes, I think so. And those 900 American servicemen Most of them are quite elite. Again, they've been working with particularly with the Kurds, some Arab allies as well, and their basic mission has been to suppress the Islamic State, to prevent the Islamic State from creating another caliphate, also to keep a lot of Islamic State terrorists essentially in prison, and it's the Kurds who are keeping them there. If we'd abandoned the Kurds, and I would hope we wouldn't, all those prisoners would probably leave. They would go to other places in the Middle East. Maybe they would go to Europe. Maybe they would still see if you can still come up from the southern border into the U.S. So I would hope that those who have worked with us, we will want to protect as well, and I hope Trump will see the utility in that.
Yeah, just to put a number on that, the Islamic State numbers prisoners and their families, something like 40,000 are now detained. Cliff May, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it.